Hi there, just auditioning for the England cricket team. Do you want to fight? Um, just really a brief video about a kind of idea about drinking culture in the England cricket side after the case of Brydon Cast being arrested and then de-arrested. He was um, he was handcuffed by the police, and then, like I say, de-arrested. Um, and he'd been out with Stokes. Um, and so it's just really a kind of review of a drinking culture and this particular team. And I would say it's less of a drinking culture and more of a kind of issue around things like mental health, entitlement, and IQ. So the first thing I'll address really, and this is not about this incident specifically, it's about a lot of these incidents that have happened in the last few years, is IQ. Why do cricketers, famous cricketers who are millionaires and play franchise league cricket, not go to like a private club? Um, it's just remarkable. And you'd think that someone, if you think of a lot of kind of rock stars or politicians, they do all sorts, but they go to a club where people know them, kind of treated with respect, and they can kind of get on with things without any kind of trouble. So that's just the kind of first really thing that springs to mind. Why are they acting like students? Second issue is the issue of mental health. So we're in a situation now where mental health is discussed more, and there isn't a stigma about it. Now, what I witnessed was a lot of England players, um, and I mean, someone like Stokes is kind of open about his mental health issues or struggles with it previously. I'm not seeing a kind of drinking culture in terms of like that of um, kind of the both in era side, or even the Flintoff era side, or the Australian sides with like David Boone in it. So that's a kind of very fun Epicurean type approach to life. Um, it's not. It seems a bit different to this. I think these people are less. They're not hardened drinkers in a sense. Because if you're someone who just really likes drink, you'd be happy to drink in your hotel room. Drink half a bottle of scotch or a bottle of wine, chill out with your friends. If drink is the issue, I think that it could be a way of kind of letting off steam, going out for the night. But also, I get, I don't want to name any players in particular, but there's an element of a few of the players who seem self-destructive, and they are leading astray other people, um, and they do need to kind of take responsibility for that. If you're self-destructive, um, just and you want to destruct yourself, that's fine, but don't bring other players less senior with you along the way. And I think there's an issue with that. Um, so I get the impression this is not people enjoying themselves who love drinking, who are out for fun, but more kind of people who have mental health issues or have um, anger issues or have you see the difference, and I think that's a problem. I think that should be looked at more than the idea of a drinking culture, because a lot of people when they drink just have a good time or fall asleep or whatever. Um, they don't start beating people up or fighting or that for, for anyone who's been drunk, if you're not a violent person, you don't tend to fight people. It tends to be the drink tends to spring out what you're like anyway. So I think there are some kind of mental health issues there. Thirdly, it feeds into an issue of entitlement, and I think this in this case, and not the other two cases, there's nothing the management can do about IQ or mental health. But in this area, the area of entitlement, this is purely a problem with the McCollum, Key, Stokes era, where they produced really unpleasant, entitled players who didn't even need to win matches and still got big contracts. And were told they didn't need to win matches, were told they didn't need to score runs, etc., etc. And it produced really unpleasant people. And I won't name names. If you just look at someone, for instance, like Brooke, really talented guy, but he has not been served well by this regime. He does not come across well, um, and that's because of the regime he's kind of grown up under. Um, Pope the other day was remarking on how unpopular he was with England fans, and it's for that reason as well. It's this regime. No one, people can take arrogance. Kevin Peterson, Jose Mourinho, etc. If you're winning and you're a success, so that's cool. If the team's failing and you're still um, acting like Charlie Big Potatoes, it does grate on people, and it's it's almost like you get the impression from these players they're doing us a favour just turning up, and this is the reason these stories are kind of big in England. People normally go out. People that age go out to clubs and do much worse. That's not the issue. The issue is like the narrative of a very entitled team who are unprofessional, don't care about winning, and a kind of a management structure which allows that both on and off the field, and this is kind of you know a manifestation of it. So that they are the issues. So I would just say number one, if you're a rich sportsman, actor, politician, just go to a club, like a private type of club that you know, um, and where people know you and you won't get any hassle. Number two, um, you know, the issue of mental health is the big issue here, not drinking. And number three, hopefully Stephen Fleming and Root change that approach where they become a bit more humble, or at least they're arrogant if they win the Ashes, or if they win another World Cup, etc. Not arrogant, lose a series to New Zealand and still be arrogant as anything, or um, you know, finish near the bottom of the World Test Championship and say we're just not interested in it. Things like that. That kind of type of stuff has to happen. So that's something to look out for in the future. And Fleming might have his work cut out.